Here he is, right arm over. Whoa, that's been, yes, it's bowled him. It's bowled him, yes it has. That has snuck through. There was a play and a miss, rather more a poke from Ray, the Barbadian. He is the night watchman, as Harmer is in and bowls, and that has gone out towards square leg. It was in the air initially. Oh, there's a terrible misfield there. It was just try to stop it on the half volley.
Critchley bowls that swept in the air, and he could be caught here. Burgess, he should be caught, and it is. And Burgess sweeps to mid-wicket and is caught just inside the boundary to bowl, and he's caught at slip. It's Benjamin playing forward, edging it, and caught low, so Chris Benjamin has not been able to take his opportunity.
Here comes Critchley, bowls, and that's clubbed down the ground. I think that's going to be 6. Yeah, straight down the ground towards the Graham Gooch end, who is now on 13. Double score with that one. Another drive. This one just goes over the head of the man at shortish mid-off. It's going to go for 4 as well. That was not entirely picked up by Bethel. He's on the attack now. Right arm round to the left-handed Bethel. And he bowls, and he's clubbed this one away. Where's that gone? That's gone straight up in the air. This should be caught. Critchley's underneath it. Yes, he's grabbed hold of it. That's a very difficult catch. It was swirling around. Bethel goes for 17. That's a 9th wicket of 4, and that was a fantastic catch. Looking up into the sky.
Simmons, who comes down the pitch, hits that over the top, but he's going to be caught by Wesley. Down at long on, and Warwickshire are all out for 94, and Essex will need 330 to win.
There's a Ray bowls. Oh, that's an LBW appeal, and he's out. First ball, Cushy given out, and it looked pretty good for me from up here. So Essex are 0 for 1, not a great start to the innings. Nick Brown, 2 slips in, and he bowls forward. That's flicked off the pads. Is it going to be runs inside edge onto pads and then through the space between a wicketkeeper and first slip? Neither moved. Here comes Ray again. That's full. Where's that gone? It's out. What a catch. Or is Brown saying it's a bump ball? Brown saying it's a bump ball. Passed over before lunch. 4. Oh, that's an outside edge. It's skewed. Turned Elgar around. That's going to run away for 4 runs. Yeah, it makes it to the boundary rope.
He's going to feel pretty wretched. Hannah Dobby round the wicket. That's driven by Elgar. That's a good shot. That's gone through the covers for 4. Good start to the afternoon session for Essex.
And he's in again. Pulled away this time. That's handsomely whipped away. That's heading out towards the boundary. There's 2 fielders in chase. And I think it's going to get there. Yes, it is. That's what he should have done on the previous delivery.
We'll have to work it out in a moment. In the firing line, anyway.
Dropped short by Yates. Pulled away. That should be 4 runs. Yeah, that was a free hit, that one.
Arm around to Elgar. And that looked like a full toss to me. And I think that's been punished. Looks like it'll go all the way as well, as that is thrashed out towards the covers. Jay Simmons storming in and bowling is a big shout for LBW here. Yes, he has been given. That rushed onto him there. That was Wesley, the skipper, Tom Wesley. And bowls, that's, oh, it's in the air, but it's not reachable from backward point. It's sliced away. It will go for 4 runs. There was a despairing dive there, not reachable though. Jay Simmons, here he is. Bowling, oh, it's in the air, and that was directed towards gully. There isn't a gully, there's only 1 slip. That is very well controlled there by Dean Elgar.
Slip, leg slip, and a short leg. So drop short, pulled away. There's a chase on here for Simmons. He's not going to get that though. Whipped away by Jordan Cox. It was there to be hit. Another one dropped short by Yates.
And a long leg, of course, as Ray hurdles in and bowls. This should be 4 runs. Yes, it will be. Again, played with an open blade of Jordan Cox's bat, and well steered safely along the ground. The ball races away.
Here comes Yates, round the wicket to the left-hander. Elgar, that's short, pulled away. There's a fielder chasing it. I don't think he's going to get there, though. No, it's behind square on the leg side. And deep mid-wicket was well in front of square, and he couldn't get there, and the runs continue to flow. Another 4. Just a slip in for Elgar, and that's defended down. And it's run that actually really fine. There's a fielder in chase. It's Hannon Dolby. They'll come back for a second run. That's gone fine down towards third man. Throw comes in, and that's the 50 up for Elgar. It's a really nice knock so far. 51 off 85 balls, including 4 fours, and he's been there for almost 2 hours, 2 minutes shy of 2 hours. 93 for 3.
Well, it's quite a quick ball, and it slaps away. It was sat up nicely for Cox, and he's not going to miss out on that. He claims 4 runs.
He's in. Ball's coming on. It's a big shout here for LBW. Yes, he's been given. Dean Elgar is out. This is a huge wicket here for Warwickshire.
And Bethel and quicker ball, and well, the quicker balls aren't working for him because again, Cox says thank you very much, takes it almost on the half volley and wallops it for 4.
Right arm over the wicket. Storms in Barnard, and that's a lovely shot off the back foot there from Cox. It should go for 4. It's a very long boundary out towards the pavilion, and that has gone out towards deep extra cover.
In he comes, and that's whipped away, and that's going to be runs, and it beats the dive of Michael Ray, which means it's going to go through for 4 for Critchley. Yates balls, that's hit in the air, but safely. That could go all the way, and that is a 6 for Critchley.
Up to the stumps, bowls to Cox. Cox drives down the ground. It beats the fielder at mid-on. That's going to go away for 4. That's actually a nice stroke. It didn't seem like he middled that, but it just seemed to race away.
Fluttering in the wind. And that's an easy shot. I think he turned that into a full toss. It was a little bit loose there from Yates, and that's 4 runs. Yates up to the crease. Bowls, oh, and that is slapped away. That's a good-looking shot. It's gone area. It will be 4 runs. It has gone straight over the ring.
Won by 21 runs. That's short, slower short ball, trying to tempt Cox into an expansive shot. Instead, he just happily parries it away for a signal, which brings up his half century. It's a controlled half century from Jordan Cox. It's taken him 101 balls.
Right, Yates, here he is. He's going to come around the wicket. He's in and bowls, and that is thrashed away. It's in the air. Ooh. It's not catchable. And the ball has gone for 4.
Simmons comes into bowl. It's short, it's pulled. And that is gone for 4 at the back of square leg by Critchley. New day. But, that's ruined Simmons over. It's a lovely straight drive by Jordan Cox. Really well played that over by Cox.
Between Cox and Critchley as Mosley always drags it in short. That is slapped away. Will it go for 4? I've got a feeling it will. Yes, it will. It bisects the 2 fielders out there between deep mid-wicket and square leg.
Comes into bowl. That's going down the leg side. It's helped on its way, and it may go all the way. I can't see now because the TV camera person is in my way, but it has gone all the way. It's gone for 4. It's another one. Another leg glance. It's going to go the same way. He's just straying down the leg side, Michael Ray, and Jordan Cox has taken full advantage. In comes... Oh, that's edge, and there's no slip there. I'm not sure it would have carried anyway, but it does mean it goes.
would assume that Kevin would message one of us.
Sorry?
I would assume that Kevin would message one of us if we're going to be on Sports Extra.
We were briefly on the first hour, didn't we? Or was it the second hour? I didn't get it until late. I haven't heard anything from him today so far.
Please welcome your umpires, Ben Debenham and James Middlebrook. Your match referees, Jason Swift, and in the scorebox, Mark Gibson, Mel Smith and Gavin Lee.
Right, start. Well, a very good morning to you from myself, Glenn Speller, from Izzy Duncan and from Clive Eakin for the fourth and final morning of this county championship match between Essex and Warwickshire at the county ground in the city centre of Chelmsford, and we should be in for intriguing and exciting final morning here as well. The equation's pretty simple. Essex need another 106 runs to win. Warwickshire require 6 wickets for victory. It's set up beautifully on this final morning, and Izzy, with the new ball just 6 overs away as well.
Well, that's the telling point, I think, is the new ball. It'll be 74 overs into this innings, so 6 overs away from that new ball. We'll see what it does. And we talked about the new ball. It tends to do more in the mornings, where it's a little bit more damp. But it does look like good batting weather. It has to be said. It's not a cloud in the sky. The sun is beating down on a yellow track. And in fact, it's been that colour, that complexion, I think, all the way through this game. Not a hint of green on it. You'd expect runs. But let's see what this new ball does. That will be the exciting moment when they take that, Warwickshire, because they've been flogging away as bowlers, not really getting anywhere.
So just to say, I'll be updating BBC Essex listeners into the 11 o'clock news as well. Yes, I must admit, yesterday when I was doing a little bit of gardening and I had a little look at the scorecard and saw Essex 12 for 2, I thought, I won't be doing cricket on Monday. But what a game these two sides have set up now. So Jordan Cox is going to resume the Essex run chase here. As I say, with 6 overs to go until the new ball is due, and 106 runs for victory. These two have already added 112 for the fifth wicket. Cox and Critchley, similar job to which they did in the first round of games up at Nottinghamshire at Trent Bridge, where these two really took the game away from Nottinghamshire. And so here we go then, first ball of the day. Just the one slip in for Warwickshire. Cox to take the first ball, and he plays defensively into the offside, and immediately the equation comes down to 105 runs as they go through for a single.
Yeah, it's quite a remarkable turnaround, it really is. I mean, Elgar with his 60 yesterday in that partnership of, well, the first 50 partnership for Essex, with Wesley worth 53, and this partnership is, as you mentioned, Glenn, worth 112, for, 113 now for that 5th wicket. And Ray, the only bowler really to make any inroads, 2 for 45 are his figures for Warwickshire.
So Matt Critchley to take his first ball of the morning then. Another 105 runs required for Essex and 6 wickets for Warwickshire. That's driven up to mid-off, but there'll be no run there as it's cut off. As you say, beautiful, beautiful conditions here. Bright sunshine, a light breeze blowing, slightly cooler than yesterday.
I would say, yeah, a good sort of 5 degrees or so cooler. We were frazzling in the greenhouse here in the commentary box. Once you get to the afternoon and the sun comes around, is in front of you, and it's quite difficult to see the screens. But we survived well. We were very professional.
Here we go, just going to update BBC Essex listeners then, as this next ball is delivered. And that's whipped away. Shout for LBW here will be turned down. Yes, good morning, Claire, and welcome to a very sunny county ground in the city centre of Chelmsford. That equation at the start of play today, Essex needing a further 106 runs for victory, Warwickshire requiring 6 wickets for an away win. We're in the first over of the morning. Essex have added 1 more to their total, which takes this 5th wicket partnership between Jordan Cox and Matt Critchley up to 113 now. Cox is still there, he's on 78, Critchley is on 46, and coming towards the end of the first over of the morning, Essex need another 105 runs for victory.
And you can of course hear commentary on
So that's the BBC Essex listeners updated. This next ball is an attempt by Critchley to whip it away on the onside, and no run there either. Just the one slip in for Warwickshire, so they're not all out attack here, waiting for that new ball, playing a waiting game, and I guess trying to keep the run count down.
That's right. I mean, they've contained them quite well, Warwickshire. Essex have not been galloping along particularly, but they've got plenty of time now to get these runs.
This next delivery, Critchley just pushes back to the bowler on his follow through. It's Ed Barnard who's doing the bowling from the Graham Gooch end.
Yeah, the run rate has nudged up to 3 as Cox was opening up a bit yesterday, just taking advantage of any bad balls. And of course, the ball had softened up towards the afternoon. Things eased off a bit for the batters. Life looked a bit of a breeze for them out there in the afternoon.
Barnard in and bowling once again to Critchley, wide of off stump, and he drives out to the covers, but they have got a sweeper out there, so they'll just come through for the single, and the score goes to 226 for 4, so another 104 runs for Essex. Still those 6 wickets required by Warwickshire. End of the first over of the morning, couple of runs added and not much doing for the bowler.
Yeah, really is quite an intriguing situation here, and quite unexpected as well, because I was expecting to be going home to Guildford yesterday, but very happy to still be here in the sunshine commentating cricket. I'd rather be doing this than anything else on the planet. And it's all set up, really, and Essex have just got to grind away. That's what they were doing yesterday. It was nuggety, gritty innings, particularly from Elgar and Cox, to hang around. And the pendulum is now swinging in the Essex direction.
And it's going to be Rob Yates who's going to bowl from this Sir Alistair Cook end. He's proven himself more than a useful operator in this game.
Yes, he's given an awful lot of overs yesterday. 21 overs, 0 for 67. Contained one end. And certainly Alex Davies has a lot of respect for his bowling. And I know Clive Eakin was talking about Rob Yates yesterday a bit and saying that he hasn't bowled long spells before, so this is quite experimental. But he's able to hold up an end and try and keep the runs down. He's not able to take wickets yet, but we'll wait and see. He's got the old ball, of course. Here is Yates, he's 17 on his back in the sunshine. Hop, skip and a jump up to the crease and bowls, and that's a good-looking forward defensive there from Matt Critchley. He's quite a rangy sort of player, Matt Critchley. He's a big lad, looks strong, long levers. Short leg in place, orthodox slip. There's a square leg and a mid-wicket. And a long leg down there, just trying to whip that away into the... It's a funny way that he plays into the offside there, Matt Critchley. It's very wristy, just pushing the ball into the offside, but straight to the fielder at mid-off. There are gaping holes in the offside, easy singles in the offside. As Yates is in and bowls, there's an easy single. They just shuffle through for 1. There's no extra cover, there's no point. There's a deep extra cover on the ropes. So easy pickings as far as the singles are concerned. Critchley goes on to 48, the score 227 for 4. To win now, 103. That's the golden number. 103 to win, Essex.
Yeah, Jacob Bethel just a little bit deep there. I think they need to bring him up to cut off that single at mid-off.
Yates again. Bowls tight to the stumps. And this is played with the spin into the onside. No run for Cox. Yeah, Cox has played remarkably well. In fact, he was top scorer in that first innings for Essex on 47. Here he is again, plenty of flight there. Another easy singles. This ball is just punched out towards Ray at mid-on, who scoots in to field that. And they trundle through for 1. Scoreboard ticking over nicely. 228 for 4. Cox goes on to 79. He's faced 147 deliveries. And has really glued this innings together with Elgar, of course. Again, Yates is in. That's a strong drive, a flourish of a drive from Critchley, and they go through for another one. Just those big holes in the field. It's difficult for Warwickshire to get this balance right with the field. They're giving away singles, but they really can't afford to give away boundaries. So there's some sort of balance here. But at the moment, things are looking a breeze again for Essex. But, you know, the new ball's just around the corner.
Exactly, and that's what both sides will have their eye on, I think, hence why Warwickshire aren't all out attack and they've got the boundary riders out there. But the ebb and flow of this game, you go back to the opening day where Warwickshire was 64 for 5 and then just after lunch 104 for 6 and then eventually finished 397 all out. They then hustle Essex out for just 162, but then in their second innings collapsed to 48 for 6 and 94 all out. And as I mentioned yesterday morning, Essex 12 for 2, and you're thinking, well, this is going to be wrapped up really quickly. And suddenly here we are on the final morning, and it's almost a perfect game, isn't it, of county championship cricket, really, taking it into the 4th day. Barnard to continue. From the Graham Gooch end is Ian and bowls to Critchley, who drives wide of mid-off, and a sliding stop is missed, and that will go to the long off boundary, and for the first boundary of the morning, and for 4 runs. And it also takes Matt Critchley to a very well-earned half century, and the Essex score up to 233 for 4. 6 fours and 1 6 for Critchley in that innings as well, and it also takes the equation down to below the 3-figure mark. 97 required now for Essex for victory, and misfields will certainly not help the Warwickshire cause. Well batted Matt Critchley, who's just adjusting bootlaces at the moment, with all his helmet off, gloves off, bat down on the ground as well.
He's
Small crowd in.
Very patient innings, wasn't it, from Matt Critchley? And you look at how many deliveries he's faced, 122 for his 53. That's all he had to do, not take any risks or chances, and contained himself well. Little tweak to the fielder. They've got a silly mid-off in position, right on the edge of the pitch.
Right, Barnard's ready, and more importantly, perhaps Critchley is ready. Barnard's in and bowls to him. Wicketkeeper stood up, just angles that one just behind square on the offside, and comes through for a single to take the score to 234 for 4. Smallish crowd in, I guess because people are back at work, and also because they're not expecting too much cricket for the rest of the day. But the members area in front of the pavilion is well populated, and the top of the Tom Pearce stand away to our right hand side as well. But the public side is bereft really of people and spectators, but every run being roundly applauded as Barnard is at the end of his run once again. In and bowling to Jordan Cox, short mid wicket in. Cox off the back foot, forces out to the offside. There's a single there as it bounces up and away out to the man on the cover boundary. Dan Mosley just unable to stop that, and they go through for another single. 235 for 4 now.
Just ticking along nicely, Essex, and looking unruffled, not troubled by any of the bowling so far. I mean, that afternoon session yesterday, well, in fact, after tea, and a wicket wasn't taken, and the game was just drifting away from Warwickshire.
Barnard in again. Oh, now that's a missed drive by Critchley. Comes off a thick outside edge, all the way along the ground, admittedly. And Michael Ray emerges from under the lip of the stand, but not before Essex take another single. 94 required, still those 6 wickets for Warwickshire.
Yeah, so we missed you, Glenn, for the last couple of days. You've been doing a bit of gardening and,
yes,
and taking your daughter off to university, packing up her stuff and things, being a good dad.
Trying to be. Here is Barnard in and bowling to Cox. Oh, tries to take that one, just flick it down to long leg, doesn't get anything on it. Well taken behind the stumps by Michael Burgess. Yes, she was back for a reading week. And not only a reading week, but back to have her washing done. So yes, that was mum.
You don't do her washing, or your wife does the washing. Really.
Mum did most of it, but you do feel like a bit of a
hotel.
Yes, at times. But bless her, she went back on Saturday afternoon. Here's Barnard in once again, and Cox forces away. Another single accrues to the Essex score. Another single off that victory target. 237 for 4 at the end of that 3rd over of the morning, and Essex require a further 93 runs for victory.
Yeah, they just need to continue as they were before, Essex, in containing themselves and looking for the runs, finding the gaps. No need to take any risks. We get, how many overs do we get in a day? Is it 110 that we get in a day?
So it's 110, it's 96.
96 in a day, that's right.
110 for bonus points, yep.
110 for bonus
in the first
points,
innings.
So 96 overs in the day in which to get these runs. So that shouldn't be a problem for Essex, as long as they don't lose wickets. We know that bang bang, if a couple of wickets go, it changed the whole complexion of this balance. So Yates continues, a marathon for Yates. He's into his 23rd over. The off spinner, the tweaker. Here he is from the Alistair Cook end. He bowls, and that's just turned into short leg. Now, I think that's Benjamin, Chris Benjamin, who's under the lid there, who's the like-for-like sub for Sam Haynes. Be very frustrated not to be playing. Yates again, twirls the arm over, and very similar very similar shot and just rebounds off short leg. We're loving the weather here at Chelmsford today. Perfect day for cricket. Lucky to be here on the 4th day. Yates tiptoeing in, bowling, beautiful length. Certainly keeping it tight, Yates. Holding up his end. Another forward defensive there from Cox. He's on 81. 237 for 4, Essex. 93 to win. Yates again, turning that arm over, giving it a bit of rip, and unable to work the ball for runs here. Cox just building up a bit of pressure as the dots join together. 2 balls remaining in the over. So we've got 3 men out on the ropes as oh, that's a little bit short. Goes very deep into his crease there, Cox, but just finds the fielder at mid-wicket. So Yates doing well here, not giving away runs with this old ball, because you'd think their batters might be targeting this old ball before the new one is taken. As Yates again, it's too short, and that is in the air, and it should go for 4. It's beautifully bisected the 2 fielders backward of square and deep mid-wicket. That will be 4 runs. That rather ruined the big M for Cox. So another boundary. 2-4-1 for 4. Cox goes on to 85. Only 89 now to win for Essex as they edge closer to victory.
Yeah, so we've had 4 overs this morning. They've added 17 already, which does just show you, I guess, the pitch and also the fact that the older ball isn't doing anything. The first morning here, Simon Harmer was on at around about 5 past, 10 past 12, and he got a couple to turn a long, long way very early on. But almost since that point, around about an hour before lunch on the first day, hasn't really done very much for the spinners at all, really. Or if it has been, it's been quite slow turn. As Barnard resumes from the Graham Gooch end, is in and bowls, and that's worked away by Critchley. A diving, tumbling stop prevents the single. Critchley takes 3 or 4 strides down the wicket, just watching very carefully to see if that would be stopped, and plenty of time to get back into his ground. And there is no run. Straight mid-on, short mid-on, right in Critchley's eye line there, right on the edge of the strip. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the left big toe of the fielder might even be just touching that bowling strip. As Barnard is in once again and bowls, and Critchley just covers up defensively, and there'll be no run there either.
Yes, I'm just looking at the batting to come for Essex as well. If a wicket or 2 were to fall, we've got Michael Pepper, Harmer, Snater, Cook, Porter. So there isn't a huge amount of batting. We know Pepper can bat.
Yeah, Pepper
Sure.
likes to get on with things. Harmer likes to get on with things, and Shane Snater's played some very useful hands over the last couple of seasons as well. He'll hope he won't be required. Here's Barnard in and bowls, and Critchley plays defensively up to that short mid-on. There'll be no run there either. 89 for victory, 6 wickets for Warwickshire.
Yes, Shane Snater is the cousin of Jason Roy, isn't he? I think he's Zimbabwean.
He's Zimbabwean and plays for the Netherlands, yes. So
he plays for the Netherlands.
Yes,
It's all very confusing.
As Barnard turns, comes running in towards us now. Wicketkeeper up short, up tight behind Critchley, driven by Critchley up to mid-off. There'll be no run there either. Barnard's bowled very well, and let's not forget what he did in that Warwickshire first innings alongside Michael Burgess. Centuries apiece, which Warwickshire 397 all out, looked really challenging, especially when they then hustled Essex out for just 162. But Essex have come back into this game. Barnard's in, right arm over, in and bowls, and Critchley again trying to force from the crease, but hits the man at mid-off again for no run.
Yeah, when you think of that lead of 235 for Warwickshire, and then getting Essex out for 162 is quite something. So it's quite peculiar that they find themselves in this position, Warwickshire. I mean, they are depleted on the bowling front. We do know that, an awful lot of injuries and bowlers missing, their frontline bowlers.
It's Barnard bowls. Critchley on the drive. Again, it's off the outer part of the face of the bat. Goes behind square on the offside, where Chase Simmons comes and picks up. Another run accrues. 242 for 4 now. Which means the target drops down to 88. End of another over. Barnard's getting through them quite quickly as well. So we are now 2 overs away from this new ball for Warwickshire. In fact, I'm not 100% sure that the scoreboard over there hasn't caught up yet. So we're 1 over away from the new ball. So Rob Yates will get through this one very quickly. And then I guess, the game almost starts again with this run chase for Essex and these wickets required by Warwickshire with the new ball, which I guess is what Warwickshire are hanging on to, really.
Yeah, I mean, Warwickshire are going to really hope they get a magic new ball. I mean, they're all hand-stitched, they're all handmade, aren't they, Dukes? They all behave differently. Here is Yates. He's in and bowls, and Critchley comes forward tentatively there. Again, there is a silly mid-on in position, hands on hip. I think that is that Barnard who's at silly mid-on? It might be, he's got 30 on his shirt. Let's have a look, yes it is. Ed Barnard. So Yates, here he is, creeping up to the pitch and bowling, and there will be an easy single. There's just a lot of nudging and nurdling for singles here to keep that scoreboard ticking over in this final over before the new ball is taken. I'm assuming it'll be taken. I think it'd be madness if it wasn't. 243 for 4 Essex and 87 required to win. And it'll be Cox now facing. He's on 85. Short leg and an orthodox slip in place. As Cox comes forward and just pushes again, these easy singles. They cross over and the score goes up to 244 for 4 now, Essex, and 86 to win. I think the scoreboard's caught up with me. Yes, it has. Change in the field. What's happening here? Yeah, short leg has come out into silly point. Brave man. As Yates bowls, and that's come off a thickish outside edge, but played with soft hands into the ground by Critchley, the tall man. Tall, strong, rangy Critchley. But again, a gaping hole on the offside there. Runs to be had. Yates tiptoeing in and bowling. His tweakers, that's played with the spin, just in front of square. It will be cut off, gently struck, and they'll go through for another single. 3 off the over so far. Should be the last ball of the over coming up. 245 for 4 now. 85 required to win. And Cox facing. Yates's last ball. Silly point still in place. Yates is in and bowls. Floaty sort of ball, that one, and comes forward and keeps it out beautifully there, Cox. So let's see what happens next. That new shiny cherry. Will it be taken by the umpires? It's certainly in the palm of the umpire. I'm not sure which way round the umpires, because they do look like twins out there. Identical hats, identical clothing. We've got James Middlebrook and Ben Debenham. The new ball has been taken. There will be an announcement, I'm sure, on the tannoy to tell us that. But here we go.
There was a wave. There was a wave of the hand with the umpire with the new ball in, so he can signal to the scorers. You know, we should have. I'm pretty sure we should have results in all of Division 1 games today. Essex 86 more to win here. Durham 313 to beat Lancashire. They're 162 for 3. Hampshire another 66 to beat Nottinghamshire, but are wobbling at 103 for 5. And Kent at 428 for 5, leading Somerset by just 52 runs. So good round of games, this one.
Lots of games going into the 4th day. It's what we like to see. Bit of longevity in the championship, especially in good weather. Yeah, well, it's good to see the tall man, all 6'7" of him. The giraffe, Ollie Hannon Dolby, is just warming up. Those long limbs. Just turning his arm over. He's got the new ball in hand. He'll be bowling to Critchley.
Yeah, extra slip goes in, as you would expect, with the new ball. And what's the old adage as well about the new ball? Well, it might well work in the favour of the bowling and fielding side, but also it does fly quicker to the boundary as well. So we'll wait and see. This is the game within the game now. Man out on the deep mid-wicket boundary as Hannon Dolby is racing in and bowls, and whipped away by Critchley down to long leg, and they'll pick up a single there. So that takes it down now to 84 more runs for Essex. 22 added so far this morning.
Yeah, and of course everything has dried out a lot over these 4 days. We've had lovely sunshine and the outfield's got a lot quicker. There's not that dampness seems to have left us, you know, even in the morning, and that pitch is looking pretty dry and dusty as well.
And Dolby very quickly turns at the end of his run. In and bowls. Driven by Cox. Oh, and it's hit the bowler on the way through and deflected away to mid-on. They're going to come through for a single anyway, but they collect it. Just lost sight of the ball. I mean, I was looking straight down the ground, suddenly it pinged off, and mid-on had to very quickly change direction as well. Mid-off, rather, had to very quickly change direction, and they come through for another single, 247 for 4.
Well, certainly no alarm bells yet with the new ball. Let's see how clever Hannon Dalby is.
Here he is now, Hannon Dalby, with 2 slips in and a short midweek, in and bowls, and Critchley on the walk, drives up to mid-on. There'll be no run there, though.
It's a beautiful cracking sound, isn't it, when that new ball hits the willow. So it's a lovely sound. There's no better sound in the summer. Hard new ball. The prominent scene, because we're back to the Dukes, Kookaburra for the first couple of rounds. It wasn't the best time of year, really, to use the Kookaburra, because it was so sort of damp. We had a lot of rain. And that ball is designed for hard, mainly Australian surfaces.
Hannon Dalby in the distance, turns, tall, rangy bowler, comes in and bowls, and Critchley pushes out to the offside, and there'll be no run there either. Good accurate stuff, this from Hannon Dalby. As Critchley just wanders down, a bit of prodding and poking going on. Such a good job he has done since coming into this Essex side, and we talked about it previously this year. There have been plenty of county sides at the time when his contract was coming to an end at Derbyshire, would have been looking at him saying, can we get in? But Essex got in quickly to secure his services. He's settling over his bat once again. Here's Hannon Dalby, in and bowling to Critchley. Again, just pushes very patiently up to mid-on. There'll be no run there either. 247 for 4, 83 runs required.
Yeah, I think you're right. He's a great acquisition, Critchley, isn't he? He's in a double act, I think, with Harmer. He works well with, you know, leg spin from one end and Harmer with his off spin from the other. And they picked up those 7 wickets. They picked up all 5 of them yesterday, just to clean up. Did a remarkable job.
Hannon Dalby then to finish off this first over with the new ball. Just gathers himself momentarily before he comes herring in, and Critchley on the drive again, hits the man at mid-on, beautifully timed, but straight to the fielder. End of the over, a couple of singles from it, and 247 for 4 is the Essex score. 83 runs required, and they have added 23 so far this morning.
Yeah, there doesn't look to be sort of dramatic lateral movement going on out there. We're not right behind the bowler's arm. We're at a sort of a long on position if you're looking at the batter facing us. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that the batters look too troubled by that first over with a new ball from Hannon Dalby. It will be Michael Ray. He thought it would be, wearing his bandana, his sweatband around his wrists as well, all matching.
Picked up a couple in quick succession yesterday, didn't he? 2 for 45 so far from his 13.
He's certainly been the most penetrative of the bowlers for Warwickshire in this second innings, this second Essex innings. Yeah, 2 for 45 for him. He's just turning his arm over, doing his warm-up act. Let's have a look at the field. The 2 slips in place. There's an extra cover and a mid-off, and they're just adjusting third man down there. So Michael Ray trundles in, right arm over, bowls, and it's on the stumps, wicket to wicket bowling, and kept out well there by Cox. He's seeing it well, Cox. He's a man in form. He scored a few runs in that first innings. They're all out for 162, but he top scored on 47. So he is a man in form, just twiddling his bat out there. There's a mid wicket. There's also a deepish square leg, about 20 yards in from the boundary. It's a very long boundary out there on the onside towards the pavilion. None of the fielders have actually stood on the ropes. It's just too far away. Ray again, here he is on the stumps again, forcing the batter to play. That's the right thing to do with the new ball, but looking solid again, Cox. He gets everything behind it. His eyes are over the ball. And yeah, it's looking difficult to unperch these two. If I was Alex Davies, I'd be thinking, what can I do here? Just there's a lot of hope in the new ball for Warwickshire.
I do like a bowler in a headband.
Yeah.
I think always gives them that little more threatening and menacing look about them when they have a headband on.
I think so. He looks like a warrior. I think a bit of face paint as well would be good. A bit of zinc. Here he is, Ray. Oh, that's going for Yorker delivery there, and that's kept out well by Cox. Watchful from Cox. Doesn't get a run from it. It's fielded there at mid-on. Nice variations here from Ray.
With respect to Michael Ray, normally a headband is adorned because you're keeping the hair out of your eyes. It's not not the case with him. So there's obviously other reasons. You see Stuart Broad, well, and Dennis Lilly when you were growing up had it round, tied back.
Yes, the beautiful golden locks of Stuart Broad.
Yeah.
Here is Ray, glimmering in the sun and on the stumps again. It's very accurate bowling from Ray. He certainly isn't giving anything away here. There's no width, rather cramping up the batters. Cox still facing, 4 dots so far. But those two out there, Cox and Critchley, will be thinking, we'll just try and see off this new ball and hope the bowlers tire a bit. Don't do anything rash, plenty of time. They're seeing it well, and what a partnership as well. 100 partnership came up a long time ago. Ray, 37 on his back, running away from us. Up to the stumps, bowls. Whoa! That is just flicked into the leg side. Just behind the umpire. It's a little inside edge there. And that was fielded there by Simmons, Chase Simmons, with his long arms. 248 for 4. And they now require 82 to win Essex. Nothing rushed about this from Essex. There's no need. Those two know they need to stay there. They're the foundation of this innings. Ray again up onto his toes. It's not a particularly fast run up, but it's rhythmical. Doesn't quite time that into the onside. Punchy shot into the onside, where it's fielded by, I think that's Benjamin there, who's the sub. And that's the end of another over, the second over with a new ball. And I think we're going to have a change in the commentary box. Who's doing what here?
Right. Well, I will. You carry on. I will very deftly, he says, slide out. Clive will come in alongside you.
Okay. And we say goodbye to Glenn Speller. So if you want to get in touch with Glenn, he's at BBC Essex Sport on X, formerly known as Twitter. And I'm at Fine Glance, Isabel Duncan. Do drop your news and views, moans and groans. We'll do our best to read them out. Essex now 248 for 4, 82 required to win. That was the end of the over. And we're back to Hannon Dalby, giraffe-like, as he swoops in with those long arms, those long levers. Whoa. And slices across his stumps there. Cox, who just about keeps it out. It kept a little bit low for a new ball.
Well, that's something Warwickshire would have hoped for more in this innings. 1 or 2 keeping low. It has happened on occasion, but not often enough to really trouble Essex. So Hannon Dalby with the new ball, but I don't know, it just feels an air of defeat about Warwickshire out there as Hannon Dalby comes into bowl, and that's played down the pitch for no run. They've been okay this morning, but it's not looked brilliant, and they haven't fielded brilliantly. A couple of stops missed out there. There's been a bit of shouting of encouragement, but lacked conviction, I think. I think they do have a sense of a team that feels this one slipped away from them. But, still, keep going. Hannon Dalby into bowl to Jordan Cox, who just runs that down deliberately and neatly to third for a single. Chase Simmons does the fielding. Jordan Cox has batted very well in this match, actually. You look at the first innings, he just had that little spell when he hit the 6. Unfortunately, he hit a spectator, who I think was fine eventually after a bit of treatment. And then next ball he hit Sam Hain, who I think also is fine. I spoke to him briefly at the end of yesterday, seemed okay. And whether that affected Cox's concentration, because he did then play a strangely poor shot next ball and got out. But he had batted well up to then, and he's batted superbly in the second innings. So he's had a very good game as Hannon Dalby bowls, and that's driven to mid-on for no run by Critchley.
Yes, it's pretty quiet out there on the Warwickshire front. Body language not great. They need to try and gee each other up a bit, make inroads with the new ball. I mean, this is the great white hope with the new ball, that it does a few things. There's some zigzagging out there. It doesn't look to be doing anything particularly dramatic.
No. Still 2 slips and places shortish mid on. And Dolby in, and that's played to mid off. Yeah, the new ball bowlers have been pretty accurate, but they haven't really threatened too much so far. And they're 6. Still need to get 82, so it's job not yet done, but these two will want to do it themselves. They'll want to see the job through without anyone else having to come in. Note there was a exciting match between Ireland and the Netherlands yesterday in the Tri-Nations T20 series at The Hague, where former Warwickshire player Mark Adair played a big role. In comes Hannon Dolby to bowl, and that's pushed out to the offside. That'll be another run for Critchley, another one ticked off, crowd applauding every run. Coming here to see Essex home, and it's a 250 up for Essex. And they've only lost 4 wickets, and they need another 80 runs to win. So Ireland, as he had Mark Adair, firstly he made 49 of 24 balls, batting at number 8, which took Ireland to 150 for 8. And the Netherlands, I think, were 7 wickets down, needed 37 with 3 overs to go.
Ooh.
And then, I'm trying to find the full details here. Let me find, if I click on somewhere, that'll get it to me. So,
Here's Ray, all angular with those jutting elbows. He's in and bowls. Whoa, there's a big play and a miss at that. A rush of blood there from Matt Critchley. I think the first we've seen. That ball popped up off a length. Good take by Burgess behind the stumps.
Yeah, in fact, with 2 overs to go, they needed 38 to win. And the next over they scored 23. So with 1 over to go, they now need 20 to win.
Exciting.
Next installment coming in a moment.
Here's Ray, up to the stumps, bowls. Whoa, it's a full toss, and it's been punished. It's gone for 4. It got what it deserved. Straight as you like in the V, with a check drive there from Matt Critchley. He goes on to 64, and the score 254 for 4. 76 required to win here, Essex, this morning at Chelmsford.
So Mark Adair's bowling the final over, just 3 runs for the first 2 balls. Then he gets a wicket with the 3rd ball. So with 2 wickets left, they now need 17 off 3 balls. He then bowls a wide, and the non-strike, the new batter gets off strike with a single.
Ray, trundling in, bowling, solid there, gets everything behind it. Critchley, no run.
So they now leave 15. A chap called Tim Pringle, no doubt with some crisp shots, hit successive 6s. So the final ball, he needs 3 to win, or 2 to tie. But Adair manages to keep them down to 1, and Ireland won by 1 run.
Wow. Love to have seen that.
Yeah.
When you said Pringle and said crisp shots, did you do that on purpose? It's quite clever.
Possibly.
Very good. Ray tossing the ball from hand to hand. Looking a little bit slumped shoulders out there, Warwickshire. Just running away from us, Ray, in bowling. He's popped that one just short of a length into the ribs of the batter Critchley, but he's untroubled and keeps it out. Glorious sunshine here this morning, and it's a smattering of a crowd, but the Essex crowd will be hoping for a win here to see the boys home.
Again, the members' area is well populated. I think.
Oh, you're right.
It is a
I have to
good
really
crowd
crane my
at
neck
this
to
end.
see them.
I don't know whether they're charging the public to come in today or not.
I wonder. I mean, good to know that, so we could advertise that on the airways. Once again, right arm over Ray, and that's steered down to 3rd man with an open blade. A lovely looking shot there from Critchley, perfectly in control. And they go through for a single, 5 off the over so far, 255 for 4, 75 to win. Critchley on to 65. Cox now facing on 89.
Difficult to assess what impact this is all going to have on the table, because there are 4 matches currently in progress, all of which could, but won't necessarily finish in a win and a loss for somebody.
Ray again. bowling. Shortish, similar shot, this time off the bat of Cox. Steers it down. Easy singles here. There's nothing alarming or frightening from the bowling at the moment. And these two getting away with it. 256 for 4, Essex now, 74 to win.
Come back to the table in a minute, but I spoke to Michael Ray last night, and he's enjoying his first experience of county championship cricket. It's very different in New Zealand when they play on these sort of grounds with banks and what have you. He's enjoying the applause, he's enjoying the crowd. Quite modest about his own efforts. He feels he's done okay, he's contributed. He was quite dismissive of some of his wickets because they were taken in front of the wicket rather than behind. Taking
Right.
4 wickets a match. He's not let Warwickshire down at all, but you know, he's not a top international overseas bowler. I think he's done quite well. Hannon Dolby comes in to bowl, and that's pushed out to the offside, and Cox will get a quick single. And then Dolby swoops on the ball. Yeah, so going back to the table, I mean, Essex, if they win this game, will have lost just 1 point on Surrey. Surrey got 19 points from their win. Essex will get 18. Only managed 2 bonus points, Essex, because it's in the second innings that they've won this game rather than the first. So they will get 18 points, which will take them to 92 and leave them 22 points behind Surrey. 6 games into the season. Whether they're second or third depends on whether Somerset win. Somerset haven't taken any wickets today. In fact, none of the bowling sides, all chasing victory, none of them have managed to get a wicket so far this morning. Hannon Dolby. We'll try and put that right now, but it's clipped away onto the onside by Critchley, and it's going to be fielded just at backward point there on the boundary, so they restrict them to 1, but every run still hurts Warwickshire, and 72 more required to win. So with a win, Essex will be second or third. Warwickshire, and with a defeat, they did at least pick up a reasonable number of bonus points. They will get 6 points from a defeat, but again, it depends on whether Hampshire win, and Hampshire are going okay at the moment. They're probably looking favourites to win their game. And Lancashire could win, although they're not making any progress so far against Durham. Warwickshire could be only a matter of a few points clear of the bottom 2. Hannon Dolby bowls, and it's defended by Cox quite high on the bat. Down to the ground, there's no run. But so far, I mean, you wouldn't rule Durham out with a certain Ben Stokes to come in. That would be the story, wouldn't it, if he walloped them to their target. They still need another 294 to win, but you wouldn't rule it out with him in the side. They haven't lost a wicket this morning, 181 for 3. Hampshire, say, look favourites because they haven't lost a wicket. They need 50 more to beat Notts. They're 119 for 5. And Kent are still holding Somerset up. Did lose a few wickets towards the close yesterday, but they haven't lost any this morning. 444 for 5. They lead Somerset by 68. Still would make Somerset favourites there, you'd think, but they'll be made to work for it. Second division, a probable draw unless Northants are adventurous with their target. They're batting on this morning, 272 for 3. They lead Derbyshire by 332. Hannon Dolby into bowl, and that's played into the onside. There's no run. Middlesex chasing victory at Cardiff. Glamorgan 344 for 7, lead by 184. That could be a thriller today. And Gloucestershire got 1 of the 10 wickets they need today to complete a victory against Leicestershire. Leicestershire 47 for 1, following on in their second innings, 288 behind.
Plenty of games alive, as I like to hear in day 4.
2 results on day 3.
And there will be a result here at Chelmsford.
There will.
Whatever happens, there's going to be a result. Exciting cricket here.
I gave it a 75% win score for Essex overnight. I think it's probably crept up towards the 80 mark now, as that's played the backward point by Cox, who really has batted very well. 92 for him. Well balanced innings. Did feel Essex were scoring just a little too slowly before he came in, but I think he's got the balance right between using the time they've got available but also keeping things moving along nicely.
Yes, Warwickshire, they just don't quite have the pace that they would do if they had their full frontline attack. I mean, it's a relatively gentle pace from the tall bowler, 6'7", Hannon Dolby. But we know he takes wickets. I mean, he took, what, 54 last season? Must have topped the wickets for Warwickshire.
He's top so far this season as he comes into bowl. That's played to mid-off. There's no run. but I don't know, it didn't seem to be too much in there. It did happen wasn't in the morning session, admittedly, but in Warwickshire's first innings, we thought, well, once Essex get the new ball, they'll start to make inroads again, and it just didn't happen. So this hybrid pitch is obviously holding up pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it's doing its job, isn't it? That bit of plastic woven into the top. It's only about 5%. There's not much in there, but it does the trick and holds the pitch together and allows for more cricket through the season. That's the general idea. Don't know how many hybrid pitches they've got here. And I think this is the first time, but certainly at Essex, it's the first time he used it in the county championship. First 11 cricket, maybe the first time across the county championship.
Yes, it's the first season where they've been allowed in the county championship. You can follow what's going on out everywhere else, of course, on the BBC cricket page. Find the county cricket page where you may have got this link from there. And that will tell you all the drama that's going on in all the other games, and there'll be plenty of it today.
Right, it's a bit of fiddling going along in the field here. I think there's one of the batters, is it Critchley, perhaps wants some new gloves or a drink or something. There's a bit of a conference going on.
I think is there a helmet coming out? Yeah, there is. So they're going to put someone in close. Chris Benjamin's got that delight. Come and replace a player that got injured while fielding right by the bat, and take his place right by the bat, Chris. Is that all right?
In the firing line, he has been battered a bit. I mean, the ball has come off him. He doesn't look like he's hurt himself, though. He's wearing a full suit of armour. Those shin pads under the flannels, and will have everything else to protect his bits and bobs. 2 slips still in place. There is a bit of a pause as Critchley has a fiddle around. He was having a drink and a bit of a breather. It's Ray who will continue from the Sir Alistair Cook end. They have changed the names of the ends here. Formerly the river end. So here is Ray, just tossing the ball from hand to hand, I think. Almost ready. There's a little bit of tinkering going on here. Ray, here he is, arrow-like, leans forward, running away from us, bowls, and very accurate this morning, Ray. It's on the stumps, forcing a shot every time out of the batters and not giving much away. So Cox on 92 just defends that. 259 for 4, 71 required to win for Essex, but they haven't been troubled this morning.
No, Ray, I think's performed pretty well in this game. We're interested to see now. I did ask him, he's sort of working on a game-to-game basis, but he may well play against Lancashire.
Ray again, look at those jutting elbows, sharp elbows he's hitting bowls. That's shortish. That's an easy single out towards third man, just using the face of the bat there. Well placed by Cox. He just goes through for 1. On to 93 into the 90s. Certainly isn't nervous in the 90s. 260 for 4 now. 70 to win, Essex.
He ended up at Warwickshire because he knows Gavin Larson from New Zealand. Gavin Larson, director of cricket, head of everything at Warwickshire. And so he contacted him and asked if he could train with Warwickshire for a couple of weeks. So that's how it came about that he was snapped up as an emergency signing.
Again, Ray trundling in. Pops in a short one. Now that is pulled quite majestically. Will it go for 4? No, it's been cut off well by the athletic Simmons, who just loses the ball momentarily as he dives on top of it. And they go through for 2 runs, and the 150 partnership goes up with that. All these milestones are being hit by Essex this morning. Cox 73, Critchley 68. That's the contribution they have made to those 150 runs. 295 balls between those two, and they have really glued this innings together.
Yeah, we said it needed a big partnership. Thought it might be Elgar and Wesley. It ended up being these two. That, though, was the best piece of fielding we've seen this morning from young Che Simmons.
Once again, Ray's in on the stumps. That's defended. This time pitched up, just compensating for the short ball that was pulled by Critchley earlier. He's still on 68. And Ray just stalking back to his mark. Run rate's gone over 3 and over now. Plenty of time here for Essex to knock off those 68 runs required to win.
Might see Che Simmons in the attack sooner rather than later. Might as well give that a try.
Absolutely, might as well jiggle your bowlers around a bit if you're not making any penetration here. So Warwickshire, Alex Davies has to use his imagination. Right arm over. comes Ray in the sun and bowls, and that's on off stump and played under the eyes of Critchley for no run. But you're right about the members' pavilion is pretty well populated, and I'm not surprised because they're all hoping for a great win here this morning with this huge turnaround that Essex have performed with the bat. They needed 330 to win at the beginning of this innings, so it really is quite something.
It will be the biggest successful run chase of the season so far, unless Durham do it against Lancashire. And I think there were only 2 run chases bigger than this that were successful last season.
Ray again sauntering in, bowling on the stumps. There will be a run here. Run's leaking down to sort of backwards square. Third man tidying up down there. It's an easy single. 4 off that over. 263 for 4. And Critchley goes on to 69, also steals a strike. 67 to win. Essex in the sunshine here at Chelmsford in day 4 of the County Championship, Division 1 against Warwickshire.
There was only 1 run chase successful bigger than this last season in the first division. That was Surrey's remarkable 501 against Kent at Canterbury. So it doesn't happen every day where a team chases down 300 plus.
No. Well, I think we're privileged to watch it. Well, it hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't. They are getting closer this morning. Hardy Hannon Dolby into bowl, right arm over, and that's defended solidly by Critchley. Warwickshire desperately needed something to happen early this morning, preferably even before the new ball was taken. We had 1 LBW shout from Ed Barnard. A couple of balls have asked questions, but not very many. And it could take some picking up the Warwickshire team after this. Got a really big game against Lancashire, next 3 away games in a row. They've played away to arguably the 2 best sides in the country, Surrey and Essex. And Dolby into bowl, and that's again not for the first time defended with his feet by Hannon Dolby, but up against the Lancashire side next, who are struggling themselves. They've lost 3 games. They might win their current game, although there's not much sign of it so far. Durham 191 for 3 now. So Warwickshire can't afford to feel sorry for themselves, really. They've got to pick themselves up and need a good result at Old Trafford, you feel. Otherwise they'll be right in the scramble at the bottom. Hannon Dolby bowls. Probably took the pace of that one slightly. It's run down to wide third by Hannon Dolby's opposite number 20, Matt Critchley. 1 run.
Clive, I think you're right about perhaps wanting to see a little bit of Chase Simmons and you know, perhaps a bit of pace. He was brilliant in that first innings, wasn't he? He took 3 for 12 and went through Essex. And it's just a bit of variety, really, just to see if they can break these. If they break these 2 up, there's hope for Warwickshire.
Yeah. But, not much sign of him getting ready at the moment. I might give it another couple of overs. Hannon Dolby tends to bowl quite long spells, but I wonder if Michael Ray, they might. Not that he's bowling badly, but he's not really threatening much as Hannon Dolby comes into bowl, and that's played down the pitch for no run by Cox. So maybe 1 more over from Ray. They might give Simmons a go, though he's done most of his bowling actually from the Graham Gooch end, Chase Simmons, if not all of it.
Yes, is there a slight hill here? I mean, it almost feels like you're coming down the hill from the Graham Gooch end.
It does look
but
that
could be sort of deceptive. Not much of a hill anyway. So it's not the Lord's slope, that's for sure. That's about 9 foot's worth, I think, of slope.
Hannon Dolby bowls, and that's pushed out to mid-on for no run by Cox. Well, Rob Yates has done a practice delivery, but I think that might just be him expelling some energy rather than being about to come on. You never know, they might decide that the only way they got a chance is a bit of spin, because there doesn't seem to be a lot of pace or lateral movement.
Well, it's not beating the bat. I think we've
No.
seen it once, haven't we? And Critchley, there was a big heave-ho blowing a miss from him, but that was more a rush of blood to the head, I think, than anything else.
Essex did bring the spinners on pretty early in the Warwickshire innings, but then they were collapsing all around them. That one's a 4 defensive back down in Dolby for no run. Well, he's taking his cap off, Rob Yates. Might be going straight to spin now. That's interesting. Yeah. Well, that does rather suggest that Warwickshire think there's nothing there for them from the new ball.
Yeah, that is a surprise, isn't it? I mean, he's yet to take a wicket, Yates. I mean, again, he has done quite a good containing role, but he doesn't look like he's a wicket taker in this innings. So that's an interesting bowling change there from Alex Davies.
I mean, he has taken wickets. He took wickets in the first innings, and he has taken wickets this season. In fact, he's second top wicket taker for Warwickshire currently. But yeah, it doesn't suggest that Warwickshire are full of the joys of spring and are expecting to win this, but who knows, maybe with a harder ball he might get a bit more speedy turn.
Well, it's worth a shout, isn't it? It's worth a shout with the spinners, just to see if they can get some grip and turn here.
His wickets in the first innings have taken him to 14 for the season so far. Rob Yates.
Bit of a conference going on in the middle again. The umpires are having a chat, and there's a big chat there between Alex Davies and Rob Yates. Game plan underway.
Are they looking at the ball again? Or, yeah, I think they are.
Returning to bowl from Mr. Alistair Cook and Rob Yates.
Well then, Rob Yates it is.
Yeah, he's bowled a lot of overs, Rob Yates. He'll be well into the 20s now. Well, look at his figures in a minute when they come up on the board. He's just warming up. He's got plenty of energy, Yates. He'll keep going. Let's see if he can make this crucial breakthrough for Warwickshire.
First wicket in the first division today has been taken by Somerset. They have Kent 6 down now. 4:55 for 6. Kent lead by 79.
Right, let's see some rip here from Yates. Short leg and an orthodox slip. And square leg has come in now on the single. And there is a mid-wicket as well. There's a silly mid-on, right on the edge of the pitch. A very straight mid-off. And there is also an extra cover as a boundary rider out there. So Yates up onto his tippy toes and bowls. And just uses the depth of the crease here to get a single, finds the gap out towards a deep mid-wicket where the ball is thrown back in. And Critchley goes on for 71 now. The score 265 for 4. 65 required to win. Essex here on this glorious sunny morning. Cox facing on 93. And Yates just adjusting his field. That short leg still in place. Yates again past the umpire, very floaty, turns it into a full toss and just paddles that around the corner. That's a very good shot. I don't think it's quite got the pace on it, the ball, to get to the boundary, but they come back for 2. That's more of a T20 shot, just finding the gaps here at Cox. He's seeing it like a big red double-decker. So Cox on to 95. 267 for 4, 63 required to win. Good manipulation of the ball there from Cox.
Yeah, he's played very well. Jordan Cox, and as I say, these two will be very keen now with it 63 required to try and take this home themselves. It's not opened the door for Warwickshire at all.
Yates again, hop, skip and a jump, he's in. It's a good length ball, really using the depth of the crease there. Cox plays it under his eyes. No run, just geeing each other on. You can hear the chirping in the field from Warwickshire. They've really got to work miracles here now. Yates, floaty. Oh, that's a Yorker length. There's a huge puff of dust there as Cox keeps that out, watchful as ever. Okay, so there was a silly point, and now silly point's come into short leg again. Okay, Yates. It's a little bit shorter, a little bit flatter. There's a half-hearted shout there for LBW. We'll see what they come back for the second. 2 easy runs, and that's been given as leg byes, but looked like it was drifting down leg side. Not much of a shout there from Yates, rather in desperation. So the score 269 for 4, 61 required to win. Cox still facing. Now what's happening to short leg? He's darting about all over the place. He's going into a leg slip position now. So a lot of adjustments to the field here. There's a backward square leg who's deep, and there's a deep mid-wicket. There's an orthodox mid-wicket as well. And that's defended. In fact, the leg side is very well decked out with fielders. And that's the end of the over. So 269 for 4, 61 required to win Essex here against Warwickshire.
I've got a report to do, so I'll bring Glenn back in, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Glenn might be able to call Jordan Cox into his 100 if he goes well this over.
Oh yeah, well we'll see Clive Eakin later. He's going to go into his duties for the people of Birmingham, Coventry and all the surrounds with his match report. So 269 for 4 Essex. We continue here. We're going to have a change of bowling. Yes, we are. In fact, it's going to be Michael Ray who's going to bowl. He's just changed ends. He's doing his stretching. He's going to bowl from the Graham Gooch end of things. It's going to come, I think it's a little bit of a hill here, probably slightly down the hill. And the conversations continue. It's going to be Alex Davies having a big chat out there with his players. And needs to have some really enterprising, imaginative game plans here to try and eke out wickets, because Essex at the moment are gently heading towards victory with 61 runs required. Nothing rash going on, nothing dramatic. As we welcome, I nearly called you Glenn Campbell, Glenn Speller back. I'm quite a fan of Glenn Campbell. Glenn Speller back into the commentary box.
When I was growing up, there weren't very many Glens around, and he was one of them. Here's Hannon Dalby in and bowling, and that's driven by Critchley up to mid-off, and there'll be no run. Glenn Campbell and Glenn Hoddle will basically it.
Yes, Glenn Hoddle. Who do you rather be, Campbell? Do you want to be a rock star or a cricket or a footballer?
Hoddle, I think, because he sort of had that languid style, wasn't he? He was a misunderstood genius, wasn't he? Who could have played more England. He was just sort of thinking that sort of.
You like your footy, you see.
Yeah,
you love your footy.
I think Hoddle. I think Hoddle rather than Campbell. Not a big country music fan. But anyway, you know, I'd have taken either, to be honest, or indeed this, as Hannon Dalby comes in and bowls, and Critchley works that one into the onside, and they come through for another single, which takes the equation down to 60 runs now required for Essex.
Yes, Glenn Campbell, he got dementia in the end, but he carried on touring, and he used to forget the lyrics. But because his songs are so well known and all his fans were there, they just sang along and reminded him, which I thought was rather sweet, so it worked.
It's one way to keep earning a living, isn't it?
Exactly.
Here's Hannon Dalby again. Into Jordan Cox this time, and Cox just pushes out to the offside, and there'll be no run there. 95 not out for him so far.
No, I think Ray's come on, hasn't he? They've swapped over.
Oh,
yeah, Ray's
he's
changed ends. He's changed ends.
No, I apologise for that, because they're both very tall.
They're very similar.
Well, they are. But as we discussed, Ray has got a headband on. And I should have spotted that.
He's the warrior.
But he's in the distance now, and these varifocals, I don't think they're doing the job. Anyway.
Specsavers.
It is Ray who is in to bowl. I want to do him a disservice. He comes in and bowls and short and pulled around the corner by Cox. And he'll go down to a long leg boundary for 4. And he goes to 99, and the Essex score to 274 for 4, so a further 56 runs required. And Cox 1 run short of a second century in Essex colours. I just find that strange when you say in Essex colours when they all play in white anyway.
Exactly. I know, and brilliant white as well. It's not cream, it's white. I think a lot of them have got lovely clean whites on today, laundered their clothes.
Here's Ray then at the end of his run. Into Cox. Cox 99 not out. Ray is in and bowls, and Cox works that one past the man at short mid-wicket. It's going down towards the boundary. They've come back for 2. They can stop running. It's gone for 4. And Jordan Cox, his second 3-figure score for Essex, stands in the middle of the pitch, takes his helmet off and waves to all corners of the ground. Gets a hug from his batting partner Matt Critchley. And Jordan Cox continues to impress for Essex since making the move from Kent. He is 103 not out, and Essex are 278 for 4, still need 52.
Yes, what a great acquisition for Essex. I mean, some of the grumbles when he arrived, I heard, was that he's predominantly white ball, but actually he's well and truly reviving his red ball career here. He is very capable in all formats, Jordan Cox. In fact, he went to Felsted School, so he's sort of done the full circle, hasn't he? And it must have been Jason Gallion who would have been his coach, I imagine, at that point.
Well, he's settling over his bat once again, is Cox, as Ray comes in and bowls to him, and Cox always played it down into the ground. It's bounced up behind him, and he panics momentarily as it bounces agonisingly close to those stumps. And danger is averted, but his heart would have been in his mouth there.
That would have been really unlucky. That would have been a freakish wicket had that happened, but kept it out. And his stumps are intact, his wicket's intact. But he's a freewheeling player, Jordan Cox, and it's been enjoyable watching him bat. Formerly of Kent, but back to Essex again for Jordan Cox. Is that the end of the over? Yes, it is. Only 52 required now to win. Critchley on 72, Cox on 103 off 186 deliveries with a strike rate of 55. 278 for 4 now, Essex. As we continue, it will be Yates to continue with his rippers, his off breaks, his tweakers. So Yates' figures now 0 for 80 off 25. So he's bowled easily the most number of overs out of the Warwickshire bowlers. 24 years old, plenty of energy. Short leg back, orthodox slip, Yates up to the crease, bowls, floats that up. It's going to be an easy single out towards point. There is no point, there's a man, it's Hannon Dalby there, who is on the ropes, who has to come in and field that. And we're going to have a changeover in the commentary box in a moment at the end of this over, under this Yates over, which we'll rapidly get through. Yeah, 279 for 4 now. Essex just breezing towards victory at the moment. Unruffled out there. The new ball not really performing any magic for Warwickshire. There's a leg slip in place now, so 2 men under the lid there, a short leg and a leg slip, and a mid-wicket. Deep square leg, deep mid-wicket. Long on is coming in, Michael Ray just jogging in into the single. And we have a mid-wicket. Sorry, no, we don't have a mid-wicket, we have a mid-off. A pretty straight mid-off. Extra cover, deep extra cover. Yates. Here he is, creeping in and bowling. That's a good-looking delivery from him. Nice and tight, good length ball. Bit of rev on it. No run there for Cox. Cox on 103. Yates again up to the crease. Bowls, that's very floaty, almost in the block hole. Digs it out and we'll get at least 1 run from this. They'll come back for the second. As Hannon Dalby wings that ball back in. 2 more to Cox. He goes to 105 now, and they've broken that 50 mark to win. They now just require 49. Essex, acknowledged by the crowd there. Yes, the field's continuing to be tweaked here. As again Yates bowls and is played defensively there by Cox. Just seeing it beautifully at the moment, Cox. Rather a flawless innings. I don't think there have been many chances. There's been 1 or 2 LBW shouts. Again, Yates. He's in a bowls. Whoa, this is big. We're going to catch it in the commentary box. It's coming towards us. It's actually going to just drop just below us and is a beautiful 6, lofted out towards the mid-on direction. Really got hold of that, Cox. He's just seeing it so well. He goes on to 111, 43 required to win now. 287 for 4 here, Essex. This is a runaway train now, Essex.
It's the first 6 of his innings as well.
Yates tiptoeing in and bowling. Much slower this time, varying the pace, and very well fielded there at mid-off as a dive. They will steal a single from it, but that was hit very hard. And that's 1 more to the total. It's the end of the over. We're going to have a change in the commentary box. Clive Eake will come back.
Thank you, Izzy. She's enjoyed that first hour as well. And certainly the Essex support have enjoyed the first hour here as well, because they've seen their side start the day with 106 runs required for victory. And that is now down to 42 runs for victory, and no damage in the wickets column either. 287 for 4. Cox 111 from 190 balls, 14 fours and a 6. And Matt Critchley 73 from 161, 7 fours and a 6. Essex backed into a corner in this game, or arguably backed themselves into a corner from a very good start, which then looked as though the game was going to get away from them when they were bowled out for 162 in their first innings and conceded a 235 run first innings deficit, but then got themselves back into the game by bowling out Warwickshire for just 94. That set up the run chase with 330 runs and the 287 for 4. And welcome back, Clive.
Yeah, I'm sorry to switching your effects off there. You're doing that summary briefly. The question, it's looking now as if Essex can do this before lunch. We are going to see Chase Simmons in the attack. So the two debutants have not let Warwickshire down. Michael Ray, he's bowled okay this morning. It's not really threatened. Just one delivery in his last over, wasn't it? Was threatened a bit, but he's done fine. Chase Simmons has had a decent debut as well.
177 runs for this 5th wicket now for Essex.
Yeah, well, it's a match-winning partnership.
176, I do beg your pardon. My maths let me down slightly there.
I expect to be 177 shortly. Simmons bowls. It's in the air. Oh, he's giving it away. Jordan Cox. Chase Simmons is struck with the first ball of his over, and well, he was tempting Cox with shots to the outfielders on the onside quite a bit yesterday, and Cox didn't take the bait, but this time he did. He's clipped him straight to the square leg boundary where he's been caught. It's probably too little too late for Warwickshire. Cox has done most of the work, but he'll be really annoyed that he hasn't seen the job through himself. Essex needing 42 still to win. Have lost their 5th wicket, 264 for 5. And it continues to be a good debut for Jay Simmons. But there's the applause for Jordan Cox. What a terrific innings. He goes for 112.
He just tossed his bat up in the air, tried to catch it on the way down when he realised what he'd done. There was only one man he could have picked out in that onside, and that's exactly what he did. I think he's just thinking, well, there's a gimme with a loosener from Chase Simmons. That's on Midland leg. I can ease that one away, and it'll either go for 6 or 4. And he's picked out the fielder on that side, and that just gives Warwickshire a sniff here with 42 runs still required. Michael Pepper in. And that stand for the 5th wicket is broken at 176 between Critchley and Cox. And Warwickshire might just look to attack a little bit more here now with Pepper at the wicket. He likes to get on with things, does Michael Pepper, but he's got a set batter at the other end in Matt Critchley. They don't need to do anything silly here.
I think it was Jacob Bethel with the catch. Fairly straightforward one, although they're never completely straightforward, are they? But he took that one comfortably. Yeah, I mean, there's only 42 required. If they were to lose another one, then they might start getting a bit nervy in the change room. And that's what Cox will be admonishing himself for. He's just caused a little bit of a ruffle there. Shouldn't be disastrous, but well, we shall see. And Michael Pepper next in. 2 slips now in place, and one slip and a forward short leg. So in comes Simmons. He was on a hat-trick at one point in the first innings, and that was scuttled through. My goodness, it's a Yorker length delivery, but it didn't get off the ground at all, and it rolled to wicket-keeper Michael Burgess, having just beaten leg stump.
It was a good take by the wicket-keeper in the end, wasn't it? Because that was one that could have got under him, because it just didn't get up. It just the moment it hit the ground, it just trickled along the floor at a rate of knots as well. And suddenly there's a lot more chatter in the outfield.
Is there another twist in this game yet? In comes Simmons to bowl. That's driven by Pepper. Didn't quite get that out of the middle of the bat. He scampered through for a single. It was a fairly hurried one. There was a shy at the stumps. I think he'd have been okay, although the fielder is holding his head in his hands as if that was Ed Barnard. I think if only I hit, he might have been out. I don't think he would have been, but just maybe some slight signs of nerves from watching Matt Critchley from Essex. I'm sure Matt Critchley will look to calm it down now that he's on strike.
Just retaking his guard as well, Matt Critchley. So Michael Pepper obviously wanted to get off the mark quickly, but he's another player who likes to feel the bat, striking the ball.
Simmons into him. It's short again. He's trying to tempt Critchley, but Critchley plays it all along the ground to Bethel and helps himself to a single, which is what they were doing yesterday when Simmons was banging it in short with the two fielders on the boundary. Cox would just sort of pat the ball down and was content to take a single. Maybe just change of bowler, perhaps slight loss of concentration from Cox.
Hampshire motoring towards victory now against Nottinghamshire, 157 for 5. They need another 12. They were wobbling at one point in that innings as well.
Yes, indeed. So that's probably the first game we can absolutely call. I mean, I've almost called this one, but let's see what impact that will have on the table. Well, they were second from bottom. They'll be up to 64 points. And Warwickshire, they'll only be 1 point behind Warwickshire if Warwickshire lose this game. So real concern for Warwickshire. Kent, I suppose, will probably lose. Certainly won't do more than draw, you would think.
They're only 88 ahead of Somerset with 4 wickets standing in their second innings.
They lost one today. If they do get a draw, they'll be above Warwickshire in the table, assuming Warwickshire lose. So it's not going to be a good-looking table for Warwickshire if they lose this. That one's short from Simmons, and Pepper just takes evasive action.
Just looking at that Hampshire innings, 169 was the target. They were 44 for 5, and they're now 159 for 5. Middleton and Fuller, the two not-out batters there, both with unbeaten 50. So that's a really good comeback. Nottinghamshire would have thought, well, we're going to get a win on the board here, but yeah, 10 runs required now by Hampshire.
In comes Simmons, another bouncer. And again, Pepper's not interested, not taking the bait. And there's no run, so a wicket in that over. Essex 40 runs away from their target, 39 away from a tie, of course. Have to throw that in. 290 for 5.
That's one of the first things you mentioned when you came through the door this morning. Was I've never commentated on a tie before.
I've been waiting a long time.
It.
Well, I've been trying. I've come close a couple of times, but never in red ball cricket. I don't think Warwickshire had a tie for eons. I mean, I think you go back into ancient times. The last time they had a tie.
Such rare occurrences. Right, change of bowling at this Sir Alistair Cook end. Michael Ray had a go from the far end when he was replaced by Simmons. Is back on here, and he, with the new ball, tried to bowl really full, and so a few times he got it right up in the block hole, and that seemed to be his approach with that new ball. But as I say, there's a bit more chatter in the Warwickshire outfield now, a bit more thought and pause and precision going on about field placings, especially when you've got the new batter Michael Pepper on strike as well, but not at the moment as Critchley has stood there. But they'll want to get Pepper back on strike, I think. He's a more than capable batter, Michael Pepper, destructive one-day player in particular, and doesn't really change his attitude when the red ball comes out either. But it's Critchley, 74 not out, who will be on strike here. And a real strengthening of the onside field, because Ray is going to bowl around the wicket to the right-handed Critchley, in and bowl, short one, and that's pulled away by Critchley, and it was in the air, but it's gone wide of the man at short mid-wicket. It's going down to the wide long-on boundary. It's just hauled in, and they pick up a couple of runs. 292 for 5, 38 further runs required, but that was in the air a long time.
Yeah, I did give Warwickshire a little bit, I would have hoped. Let's give the batter the benefit of the doubt, and he knew what he was doing there. But just a little aerial.
Just moved the short mid-wicket around a bit, and the mid-on a bit wider. So Ray comes in, that's short as well. That's pulled by Critchley straight into the man. Well, he's at short leg, forward short leg, but he's a couple of strips away, but it doesn't matter, that still will have stung a little bit.
Well, he hit him on the full, though, so if he managed to somehow make it stick.
Some wag in the outfield, so that's a chance gone down.
It's one of those ones where it's just sometimes it sticks.
Yeah.
Or as if it's Jonathan Trott, it lands in his pocket. As he famously did against Joe Denley. Took a catch at Edgbaston when the ball landed in his pocket.
Ray in again, round the wicket, short, pulled away, and this is a definite tactic here. Trying to dig it in round the wicket into the ribs of Critchley, but they'll pick up a single there. 293 for 5, gets Pepper down onto strike. 37 required. Remember Russell Arnold for Sri Lanka as well, caught one in his shirt. Because he wasn't the most solidly built of players, and his shirt was quite baggy, and he hit it, and it sort of went into his shirt, and he managed to hang the side of his shirt, and he managed to hang on to it sort of in there. I remember seeing that in a Test match as well. Sometimes they stick. Another change in the field here. Should bring Pepper down onto strike. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fielders on the onside for Pepper. As Ray round the wicket, in and bowl short. Pepper just ducks away from that, slightly off target, but you see her trying to get it right up into his ribs there.
3 towards the boundary, 1 on the long leg boundary, 2 sort of about a third of the way in there, and then 2 about 5, 6 strips away, looking for the miscued pull from Pepper.
It's almost like good old-fashioned leg theory, isn't it?
Yes.
They're bowling here.
Yeah.
As Ray is ready once again at the end of his run. Approaching now, comes in, bowls to Pepper. Oh, that's short, and Pepper sways out of the way of that one, drops the hands, makes sure he gets the bat out of the way of it as well, and there's no run. 293 for 5, 37 runs required for Essex, 5 wickets for Warwickshire. At the start of the day, it was 6 wickets for Warwickshire and 106 runs for Essex. And we had 6 overs of the old ball this morning. This is Ray. A wave he has with his right hand before he starts his approach. In and bowl short. Oh, and Pepper's chopped it on! Just trying to angle that one down to deep third, and he's got an under edge on it. It's flicked to his off stump, and 293 for 6 now. 4 more wickets required for Warwickshire. Essex still 37 runs short.
Goodness me, it's extraordinary game. But, I think that's always been the hope for Warwickshire. There might be just a little bit of variable bounce, and that one probably didn't get up as much as Pepper was expecting. Just got a bottom edge onto his stumps. Might consider himself slightly unlucky, but just, I mean, it's only 37 required, so Essex, you feel, just need to keep their nerve here. But just a little ray of hope for Warwickshire in the sunshine here at Chelmsford. And it continues this extraordinary match, which has fluctuated from the first morning when Essex took 5 wickets, and that double century partnership by Barnard and Burgess, which turned it around. Then a very good bowling performance from Warwickshire in the second innings. But the decision not to enforce a follow-on, and calamitous batting and very good bowling, particularly from Harmer and Critchley in the second innings from Essex, giving Essex a chance to look like a formidable target, especially when they lost 2 wickets early on. And even at 4 down, they still seemed a very long way away till that partnership from Critchley and Cox got them close, but not quite there yet. Now 2 wickets in quick succession for Warwickshire, who need 4 more for victory. And that tie is still on, Glenn.
It is.
Still on.
Yeah. You're almost willing it, aren't you?
I am.
You're willing that more than the Warwickshire victory.
I'll take it. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Anyway.
It was into the over as well.
I always think a fielding side will celebrate a tie more than the batting side, because it will mean they got a wicket off to clinch it. Whereas the batting side only needs 1 run for victory at the point where the scores are tied. Anyway, Matt Critchley's on strike, so he'll be thinking it's down to him now. He's got to steer this home and just keep things calm.
The sirens are going in the background.
They are. Is that the
Essex? The alert's on for Essex.
Yes. Well, now they've got one slip. There's a difficult balancing that for Davis because he's got precious few runs to play with. Can't afford to set 2 attack in the field and see a couple of boundaries hit. He's got 5 in saving the 1. Simmons, right arm over to Bowles, going down the leg side. It's not a great ball, but he's protected by his wicket keeper. Burgess makes a good stop down the leg side, so there's no run. I say the 2 David shots certainly haven't let Warwickshire down. That's not why they're losing this game if they do lose it. I mean, yes, the bowling attack is short of, you say, sort of big wicket takers potentially, but that's not why they'll have lost it. Simmons bowls at short and it's pulled, and well, Critchley didn't go for a run there. I think because it was going straight to the field. I don't think there's any case of him keeping Harmer off strike. Should point out, by the way, that Harmer scored 50 not out in Essex victory in this fixture last season, so Warwickshire haven't exactly opened up an end yet, but Critchley not risking a run out there, doesn't take the run. Simmons in, and Critchley just gets a bit of an inside edge, and for a moment he's wondering whether that's going to go onto his stumps. It stops by his feet.
Things beginning to happen.
Well, the crowd have gone a bit quiet, haven't they? You're not singing anymore, might be the chant. They'll soon start going again once the runs start coming, but it's an absorbing contest. Good cricket, good game, fluctuating game.
Well, it looked like a cruise, didn't it?
It did.
It looked like a cruise for much this morning.
Certainly did. In comes Simmons to bowl, and that's solidly defended by Critchley, who will be aware, of course, they've got plenty of time. They'd like to have done this by lunch, but they don't have to.
Victory for Hampshire by 5 wickets.
So I'm surprised at Notts. You look at their team, you feel they should be doing better.
How many years have we said that about Nottinghamshire, though, and they end up getting relegated and things like that? So.
I've had 1 win this season, but even so, they're not going to be too many points away from the bottom 2 after this round of games. In comes Simmons to bowl, and that's defended on the offside. There's no run. So Hampshire will be up to 66. Warwickshire will be on 65 if they lose this. Not 68. A lot still depends on Lancashire, who I don't think they've made any progress today, have they? Durham chasing a huge target. It's all set up for Ben Stokes to come in and blast the winning runs, isn't it, there? Simmons in to bowl. That's a short, slower ball, which Critchley has done well. He's paddled that downwards to 4, down to fine leg, and that's a big shot from Essex's point of view. Just tried the slower short ball. I'm not sure Critchley was 100% in control of it, but he got it down and gets 4 runs. And 4 runs that will just ease the tension a little bit for Essex. I would tell you the score, but they're showing the action replay, but I could lean over there, couldn't I? 293 for 6, so they need 37 more. 297 for 6, so they need 33 more for victory.
Yeah, as you say, he wasn't completely in control of that. You know, didn't sort of go down to wide long leg, did it? It was very fine in the end, but he got over it, and that's the important factor. But Harmer is on strike now. And so this is the end that Warwickshire have opened up. Same field again, 5 men on the leg side. Forward short leg, 2 mid wickets, 2 close in mid wickets as well. As Ray comes in and bowls short, and Harmer sways out of the way of that one. Through to Burgess it goes.
I mentioned I interviewed Michael Ray after the end of play. I say he was quite modest about his own contribution. I thought he'd done okay, made a contribution. I said, well, you could still win the game for them. I said, well, yeah, that would be a contribution.
That headband on, and wristbands, white, bright wristbands on either wrist as well. A little wave he has with his right hand with the ball in hand before he starts. Right arm over, comes in and bowls to Harmer. That's short. Harmer pulls away. Along the ground will pick up 4 runs. I mentioned there's 5 men on the onside. 2 of them are sort of 3/4 of the way to the boundary, and he's bisected both of them, and it brings up the Essex 300, 301 for 6, and Harmer is off the mark, and a further 29 runs required now.
That's a very good shot from Harmer. They were trying to get him to take the risk, but he executed it really well. Timed it well, got it down to the ground quickly. It was worth a try from Ray's point of view, but Harmer did a really good job.
Yeah, he just didn't get that bouncer up high enough, did he? And that tells you about the surface as well. So they take the man on the onside who was in short out and put him at square leg, all still in catching positions as Ray is in and bowls, and Harmer just angles that one away on the offside and comes through for the single. Plenty of runs to be had on the offside. 302 for 6, 28 required, and 4 wickets for Warwickshire in this topsy-turvy county championship game.
Classic. Hit a 4 and then followed up with a single, which in the position this game is in is absolutely perfect from an Essex point of view.
Slight pause in play. Critchley down on strike now, but no change in the field for Warwickshire here. Bowling to a man who has 81 to his name. One slip in. Ray is in, bowls, pulled away by Critchley, and this time, unlike Harmer, he can't bisect those 2 fielders in the deep, and they come through for a single. 303 for 6. We're in the 94th over of this Essex run chase, and Warwickshire have had 13 and a bit overs with the new ball.
Yeah, I did get the bang, the 2 wickets in quick succession. A little late in the run chase. They need another 2 quick ones really to get back into it.
Ray in and bowls, and that's just angle behind square on the onside, and they just have to get the hurry on slightly, but it's nicely judged in the end as Critchley calls Harmer through. 304 for 6. A little ripple of applause for that single. You can tell when the crowd are getting nervous because every run is applauded. Earlier on, they weren't taking much notice when singles were picked here and there.
Well, if they pull it off, it's been a brilliant run chase from Essex. That's credit where credit's due. Really, to get 330, even though the pitch hasn't deteriorated much, so the conditions were there and there was plenty of time. So they always had a chance of doing it, but it'll still be a very good effort if they can pull it off, which they nearly have.
Normally you see scores go down during a game, don't you? But they're bookended, with Warwickshire getting 397 in the first innings and Essex at 304 for 6 now. 26 runs required. Ray comes in, bowls to Critchley, and Critchley watches that carefully and just pulls it round the corner, but won't get anything there. It was a slow bouncer.
The crime from Warwickshire is that they needed to make Essex make the biggest total of the match to win, which they would have done if they got 200 in their third innings. Warwickshire, that's in fact less than 200, about 160 odd would have done it. So and that, I think, would have, you look at it now, you'd have to say if Essex were chasing 400 plus, it would still have been pretty difficult. Not saying they wouldn't have done it, but it would have been difficult.
Well, you're looking at, I mean, to get up towards 400, you're only looking at another 50 runs, really, aren't you? Sort of 380, 390, 50, 60, 70 runs.
Yeah.
And as you say, okay, the game is in Warwickshire's hands, but you get hustled, bundled out for 94 with a 235 run first innings lead. You get bundled out for 94. You should still back yourself, really, but
it's still a fairly young and inexperienced side. I think they just took the eye off the ball in that third innings. Which you do see it happen, as the third innings can often go calamitously wrong for the batting team. Third innings in a match.
Taking the slip out now as well, Warwickshire.
Yeah, well, there haven't really been any edges, have there? The 2 wickets they've got in other ways. Simmons comes into bowl, and that's clipped off his toes nicely by Harmer. It is well stopped, so it'll only be a single. I think it was Ed Barnard with the tumble there.
I get that. I get that there haven't been any edges, the ball hasn't gone past the bat, but you've got the Essex number 8 on strike and you take the slip out, you could almost see, you have a dart at it, get an outside edge, and it comes down to deep third for 4 runs. But as it was a full delivery. It was driven out to mid-on, but you see that. But the Warwickshire feel that clearly that they think if there's going to be a catch, it's going to go sort of deep or in front of the wicket rather than behind.
It's Davis having a chat with Chase Simmons now. Comes into bowl to Critchley. That's a bouncer. Critchley ignores it. He'll certainly want to be there to the end now, Critchley. He probably won't be obsessing about it, but it's touch and go now. Whether you'll have, in fact, he probably won't get time to bring up his century unless he really takes hold of the innings with 25 more runs required, and he's 18 short of the 100.
Durham 231 for 3. Good chase this
amazing
from them as well.
And Kent have still only lost 1 wicket today. Holding Somerset up. In comes Simmons. And he plays back to that Critchley. He will get a couple here, I think. He will. 2 more runs for Critchley. He's on to 84. And those runs heartily applauded. He's playing a really important role for his team. All-rounders role again from Critchley because he was key in Warwickshire's second innings. And that second innings collapsed. So he took 4 wickets. So in fact he had 5 wickets in the match. And these invaluable runs. Simmons bowls it short. That's hit to the back of square leg for no run. I think I might have gone over my time a little bit here, so I will hand to Izzy at the end of this over. And she can describe the 4 Warwickshire wickets that lead them to a famous victory.
If it gets that way, we'll bring you back on.
Well, fielders Chris Benjamin's taking the helmet, square leg about 4 or 5 pitches away. Simmons is into bowl. It's driven not out of the middle of the bat by Critchley. Came off a bit of the inside of the bat and rolls to mid-on. There's no run. Essex 23 runs shy of their victory target, which will be the biggest run chase in the championship this season for about 2 hours probably before Durham pass it. They seem to be heading, at the moment anyway, for something special. In comes Simmons to bowl, and Critchley plays that down the ground to mid-off. There's no run, but he's done all right that over. Critchley, he's moved on to 84, and Essex 307 for 6. I need 23 more to win. I may be back, I may not. If I'm not, then thank you to Essex for their hospitality. Enjoyed the match. It's been a cracking match. And if it's still here after lunch, I'll see you then. But,
thank you, Clive.
Easy, Duncan will take my place.
Clive Eakin, BBC Coventry, Warwickshire, BBC WM, with us here at Chelmsford. He's been here for the last 4 days, or 3 and a bit days. As that was the end of the over. Simon Harmer's just retaking his guard. Michael Ray is going to continue from this Alistair Cook end. 4 wickets required by Warwickshire, 23 runs for Essex in this topsy-turvy ebb and flow game of county championship cricket. Kent now leads Somerset by 101 down at Taunton. 477 for 6 in their second innings, having been bundled out for just 178 in reply to Somerset's 554. Here's Ray, in and bowling to Harmer. Harmer eases that one into the onside, stopped at short mid-wicket, and there'll be no run there. Robbie Yates doing the fielding, as Izzy just settles back in alongside. A couple of wickets have gone down, just made it a little bit nervier for Essex. Not done yet. Warwickshire will think
right.
Another one.
There's a twist in the tail here, isn't there? You just feel those 2 wickets taken a little bit too late, possibly by Warwickshire, though.
Ray running away from us. Ring of fielders on the onside. Bowls. Oh, and that's an attempted hook and pull. Now there's a half-hearted appeal from Ray and from Slip. A missed pull from Harmer. It's hit something, possibly the upper arm or the shoulder. Goes through to Burgess, who had to dive a long way forward to take that, but everybody else unmoved. And in fairness, I don't think the appeal was the most convincing in the world either.
Not at all. It was a bit of a desperate down appeal, that one. Hit something though, as you say.
Rather loud motorbike circumnavigates the county ground along the southway here in Chelmsford as Ray in and bowls to Harmer. That's an attempted short ball. It just doesn't get up, and Harmer plays that very nicely behind square on the onside and picks up the single. 308 for 6. 22 runs required. Still those 4 wickets for Warwickshire.
Very good support act here from Simon Harmer. I mean, the pressure's really on him. They're wanting to bowl at him. It's intimidating as well. There's a few bouncers thrown in at Harmer. The newish bat, but he's holding his own pretty well out there.
Well, he's a more than capable batter on his day, Simon Harmer. A century against Surrey a few seasons ago now, down at the Oval. Here, Essex won one of their many First Division titles as Ray's in once again. That's pulled away by Critchley. Beats the short mid-wicket, but not the... Well, there are 3 mid-wickets in. Beats the short one, and then hits the man who's halfway to the boundary, and then there's a man sort of 7/8 to the boundary as well. So it's an interesting field set here for Warwickshire.
I mean, look at that offside, those gaping holes. You've only got one man in on the single. There's nobody on the ropes. I mean, that's it. It's a wideish mid-off.
That's where your captain tosses you the ball and says, bowl to your field. Here's Ray in, over the wicket in. That's an attempted pull in the air, but it's going to go down to the long leg boundary from Matt Critchley. It was in the air a long time, but well wide of the man, and they pick up actually 6 runs in the end. It makes it the full distance. It smacks into the advertising hoardings and bounces back onto the outfield. 314 for 6, and Critchley goes to 90.
Well, there's a chance of Critchley getting his century here if he takes the strike. Make sure he takes the strike. Well, I'm sure that's not in the forefront of his mind. He's a team man, but there's certainly a chance of it.
16 required. That was in the air a long time, but a long leg is very, very wide, and that went quite fine. Ray in, bowls, that's a full toss, and it's driven away by Critchley. And what were we talking about bowling to your field? Well, he's bowled a full toss outside off stump as Michael Ray, and Critchley drives it away to the cover boundary. He goes to 94, the score to 318 for 6, 12 more runs required.
Yes, Michael Ray just losing the plot a little bit there on that last ball, rather thrown by the ball before that went for 6. Wasn't in complete control of that, Critchley, the previous shot, but that was a full toss and really was put away. And that offside is a desert, isn't it? It's a desert with a single fielder there at mid-off on the single, so runs to be had on the offside. He's taken full advantage of that. Critchley, who's had a fine innings so far, and part of that 5th wicket partnership with Cox, worth 176, has really been the foundation of this innings and this remarkable turnaround, but they haven't got there yet. 12 runs required here, Essex, to win at Chelmsford against Warwickshire.
Jacob Bethel to come on from the Graham Gooch end as well. First time we've seen spin from that end this morning.
Yes, Bethel. He bowls a bit of slow left arm, doesn't he? We saw him yesterday turn his arm over. We can have a look at his figures, actually. Let's have a look at Bethel. Here he is. No, they haven't printed his figures, so I can't tell you. They'll come up in a moment on our scoreboard here in the commentary box. I'll just have to be patient. So big discussion there with the skipper between Bethel and Davies. Just rearranging the troops, really, where to put the field. And it's going to be Harmer to face. Come on, scoreboard, tick over and show us the score that we need up there, please. So Critchley is on 94, Harmer on 8. Harmer doing a valiant job as a support act. Bethel just warming up. And the Essex crowd here feeling a bit frisky, geeing them on, bringing them home. There's an orthodox slip and a short leg, and the blonde-haired Bethel will bounce in. There he is, with his left arm, his slow left arm. Orthodox, there won't be a single here. That's just turned into the onside, beats short leg. There's a backward square leg on the single. There's also a deep mid-wicket, a mid-on the single. A mid-off's dropped back a little bit, almost giving the single there. And there's an extra cover and a backward point and a deep extra cover as Bethel flights that in. There'll be runs here, could well be 4. No, it'll be cut off by Hannon Dalby. They go through for a single. And that'll be 1 more to Harmer. He goes on to 9, 319 for 6, 11 required now. Critchley, the man at the moment, facing on 94. Will he get his ton? He can almost feel it. He'll be salivating, wanting that 100. He's doing a little bit of nervous gardening out there. Will they adjust the field? They haven't adjusted the field for Critchley. It remains the same. Bethel, he'll come in with a hop, skip and a jump onto his toes. Left arm around And there will be a single here. It'll be an easy single into the onside, out towards deep square leg, just in front. That's nurdled by Critchley. He goes on to 95 now. Harmer now facing on 9. 10 required. Yes, quite a remarkable innings here from great chase from Essex. You have to admire it. Great character out there. And let's not forget Elgar as well. He was out on 60 and put together a 50 partnership with Wesley as Bethel's in and bowls, and that's pushed out towards wide-ish of mid-on. He falls onto the ball, cuts it off. They get a single out of it. Just keeping the scoreboard ticking over gently at the moment in this over. So Harmer 10. And let's see Critchley facing. He's on 95. 3-2-1 for 6. Bethel again. Here he is, around the wicket. There should be a single here. There might even be 4 runs. This outfield is a little bit quicker. No, there won't. There'll be 2. Comes back for the second, Critchley. And that was turned around the corner, down towards fine leg. Deep square leg has to run round to his right to cut it off. 2 more. Critchley goes on to 97. 7 required to win.
1 ball to come.
As the voice of Essex, do you want to call Critchley's ton?
Well, he finished the over. I don't think he says famous last words. I don't think there'll be any hurry to get it done because, as he will say, a good team player will say it's about the team. It's not about personal milestones.
That's right. It's also a very individual game. There's only 1 ball left of this over. Of course, he can get his ton off this ball. Let's wait and see. And Bethel is having more discussions out there with Davies, Alex Davies. I think he's going to on 97. I think they need to think about their field here. So backward point has been taken out. Short leg remains the same. Orthodox slip is in there. There's going to be a mid-wicket. So backward point comes out and goes into the mid-wicket position. There's also a deep extra cover out there. That's Simmons, who's very athletic, seems to cut everything off that goes in his direction. There's an extra cover mid-off, mid-on. And a backward square leg. As Bethel is in as a reverse sweep, a good-looking shot. It's into the gap. He saw the gap there. They should come back for the second. Yes, they will. And those are runs for Critchley that takes him on to 99. And the Cloud are almost up on their feet, but not quite at 99. It's also the end of the over, so it will be Glenn Speller who will take the next over, and most probably will be a century. We'll wait and see, but there's still 5 to win here for Essex, so 5 runs to play with, in which Critchley may or may not get his century.
Well, do you see Simon Harmer coming down the wicket and clattering it over the top for 6 and walking off the field? Sorry, old chap, just needed to get the game won.
Very selfish.
Do you think they came down and punched gloves there, and Matt Critchley went, "Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. If the opportunity's there, get the game, get it done." Or do you think he's come down and said, "Look, 99 not out. If you can squeeze a single, squeeze a single." I think it's more about the team, isn't it? Matt Critchley's already got 1 century to his name this season. 150 he got against Lancashire. So Harmer on strike. Chase Simmons is going to have a go from the Sir Alistair Cook end. 4 wickets still required by Warwickshire. They managed to take 2 this morning, but as Clive said earlier on, possibly too late in the Essex run chase. So Harmer settles over his bat, and Simmons running away from us. The Warwickshire debutant in and bowls that short, and that's a tennis ball bouncer up and over the head of Harmer, and it's a no ball as well. And a few groans, but then a round of applause from the Essex crowd, because there are 3 more required now.
Yes, that definitely wasn't reachable for the batter at the other end. That's Harmer. That would have been a tennis serve up in the air if he made contact.
3 to win. Simmons into Harmer, and Harmer works that one straight into the hands on the bounce of the man at short mid-wicket, and there's no run. So there's a game within a game within a game here now, isn't there? Now, trying to prevent Essex scoring the winning runs, trying to prevent Matt Critchley getting a century, and trying to somehow find 4 wickets when you've only got 3 runs to defend. Other than that, there's nothing going on. Simmons in, bowls to Harmer, bouncer. Harmer helps that one around the corner. It's going to go down to the long leg boundary, and it's 4 runs, and Essex have got the victory here. They win by 4 wickets, Matt Critchley is denied a century. He finishes 99 not out, but having conceded a 235 run first innings deficit, Essex have turned it into a 4-wicket victory.
A quite incredible turnaround when they were chasing down 330 runs. It seemed unlikely when those two first wickets fell of Cushy and Brown pretty early on by Ray bowling. But to make that comeback, let's not forget Elgar 60 in that third wicket partnership of 53 between Wesley and Elgar. And then that remarkable fifth wicket partnership of Cox and Critchley of 176. Cox out for 112, rather gave his wicket away with deep frustration, went back to the pavilion. But that man Critchley in the end left a little bit stranded on 99 not out, but he won't mind at all, as it's victory for Essex here at Chelmsford, and an unlikely victory at that. I wasn't expecting to be here today. So really ground out those runs extremely well, Essex. Well done.
Thanks to Izzy, thanks to Clive for their company. Well, Tom Wesley, the Essex captain, spoke after day 3 about his side being backed into a corner and pretty much all of the time finding a way to turn a game around, if not get themselves back into it, then win it. And they've done just that here. They win by 4 wickets, and it's a vital win as well because it keeps Surrey within striking distance. There'll be reaction to come on the BBC Sport website, and you can follow the text feed of the other games there as well, because there's some exciting finishes to come in those matches. But for myself, Glenn Speller, from Izzy Duncan and from Clive Eakin, enjoy the rest of your day.